Hello, and I look like a talking head. Andre, can you remove that? Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? And welcome to another episode of Contemporary Living, where we provide lifestyle solutions for everyday people like you, people like me. Yes, we are the platform for champions, and we like to say we are the platform for life champions. How has your week been? I hope it's been excellent. I hope everything is going well. We are into the holiday season, so I hope things are festive. And as we know, everyone doesn't like this time of year. So let's do the best we can with just, being nice to one another. It doesn't cost. Doesn't cost to be kind. But welcome to today's show, and I hope that this will be an hour of power for you. And while right now you could be tuned into anywhere else, we appreciate the fact that you chose to be here with us, and we want to honor that by giving you a great show. So we're going to start off with some housekeeping notes. Of course, you can always catch any episode of Contemporary Living on E360 TV, Facebook, YouTube. And if you want to contact us directly, go to info at contemporaryliving.live.com. That's info at contemporarylive.com. We are not hard to find, and we absolutely love hearing from you because our platform is your platform. And so of course I want to give a shout out to Blue Pearl Candles. They're located in Homewood. We had the owner and CEO of Blue Pearl Candles, Kim Rowe, on our last episode. If you watched it, it was an absolutely great interview. And tonight's going to be just as good. I like Kim because, she shared her ups or downs of her entrepreneurship journey. And, she talked about, how, she broke into the candle making business and gave advice, for anyone that's trying to start their own candle company. So if you haven't checked out that episode, please do. And some things I really learned, and some things that I experienced being an entrepreneur at mysipnation.com is that, entrepreneurship is not easy. It's definitely not passive. It's not passive, and it doesn't happen overnight. But the thing I love about it is that success is possible. If it's possible for me, it's possible for you, it's possible for Kim. And we just really enjoyed her last week at Blue Pearl Candle. So there's your shout out. Kim, I hope you are watching because we are going to debut her video later when we go to commercials. But back to tonight, you guys. Tonight, we're going to take a look inside the world of writing with author Felecia Portwood. And our theme is based on her new book title, The Cost of Disobedience. What price will you pay? Now, think about that for a minute. The cost of disobedience, what price will you pay? Now, that can go in all sorts of directions tonight, but I just can't wait to see where it takes us. So let me introduce our guest tonight. Felecia Portwood is a wife and a mother of 4 adult children and 5 grandchildren. She is the second oldest of and the first daughter of 6 siblings. That's a big family. That's a big family, Felecia. Felecia was born and raised on the south side of Chicago in the Inglewood community and currently resides in the far southwest suburbs of Chicago. Felecia enjoys being a dedicated wife and mother, spending time with family and friends, bowling and shopping during her spare time. New on the scene of writing, Felecia has authored her first book, which we already said the title, The Cost of Disobedience. What price will you pay? Now, that's not all of her gifts, you guys. She is a registered nurse by trade and currently possesses a Bachelor of Science nursing degree. Felecia is also co-owner of Smoke by the Pound LLC Jerk Barbecue Catering Company. And when I say that food is delicious, I mean it. Woo! That's some good food right there. But anyway, we're not talking about that tonight. But now that's on my mind. But she was recently featured in She Publishing newsletter. That was the November edition. And the 2022, and she is the 2022 She Publishing Network recipient and award winner. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Ms. Felecia Portwood.
Good evening.
Hey, Felecia. It took us a minute to get you in the screen, but hey, girl, you know what? Now I'm thinking about food.
Uh-oh.
But that's quite all right. That's quite all right. How are you doing?
I am good tonight. How are you?
I'm well. You look absolutely amazing. I just want to let you know that.
Thank
I love
you.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
But how do I want to start this? Let's talk about those Inglewood origins. Crystal says hello. Crystal Johnson saying hello. And you guys just chime in, support Felecia. Let's do what we do. Let's talk about those Inglewood origins. So I know you didn't come out, I'm just going to be a writer. This is just what I'm going to do because this is your first book. So let's talk about, a little bit about where you grew up and a little bit about that experience.
Okay. So I grew up on the south side of Chicago, also known as the Inglewood area. So if we'll put a geographical area to it, we'll say Washington Park area. Grammar school, high school, up until young adulthood. Never thought about being a writer. It was never on my agenda. Was English, did we have it in school? We had it. Writing, we had it, but it was not like my thing to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I get it. So but you're a nurse. So did you have some origins from there? Because like I said, you're a woman of many talents, entrepreneur. You got your book published. You're doing things. I mean, and a registered nurse, among other things that we're going to talk about. But yeah, so what led you to the nursing origins?
I got into nursing. I was a young mother. I had my first baby at the age of 16. Didn't really know even then what I wanted in life or where I wanted to go. I got into nursing just by like at 16 years old. Okay, now I have a baby. Although I have family support and the support of my family, I got to step up and be an adult now. So I had to do adult things. I branched out into doing nursing assistant. I got into doing that. I totally enjoyed it. Totally enjoyed it. Something about caring for people. I just totally enjoyed it. So I enjoyed it so much that I did not want to go further in nursing. I was happy right there being a nursing assistant. But thank God I had some great leadership, some great mentors, other nursing mentors, and they pushed me. They gave me the push. They like, you'll be a great nurse. Like the way that you care for people and the way that you like to do things right. They was like, go for nursing. I was like, no, I don't want to be a nurse. I don't want to be a nurse. So after a couple years of pushing me to do that, that's how I got into nursing. So I started nursing, my nursing career back in 1998.
That is wonderful.
And now I'm here.
And I mean, it's like, I know you say, like a lot of people say that, I like to help people. I like to take care of people. Nursing is on an entirely different level. You really have to care and in my opinion, you really have to care about people to be a nurse, because it's gonna test you. It's gonna test you in probably areas that you never thought you'd be tested in. But yes, thank you. I'm an Army veteran, so they're always saying thank you for your service. But hey, we went. You survived the pandemic. You're still here. You're still, and you haven't left the profession like a lot of people have done. So you know what? My salute is to you today, Felecia. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you for your service as well.
No problem. Now let's get, because I wanted to just do, a little bit about your background. But when did you discover that, you had a knack for writing? And is your book fiction or nonfiction?
The book is nonfiction.
Okay.
I did not know I had a knack for writing. It was never a thing for
Oh,
me.
that's gonna make this interview good.
It was never a thing for me. Like, it was actually more so. It was for choice of words. It was an assignment given to me by God. So that's how I got into writing, and I still, even today, cannot believe that it is done.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about what I don't know if I want to go and I'm gonna just throw two questions out at you. I'm so interested in how you were led to get the title, how you came up with the title. But then, it's like at the same time, I want to know what the book is about. So maybe that's a twofold question and you can answer it, however
Okay.
you want. Uh-huh.
Okay. So, the title of the book also was given to me by God.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from a place of just what it says, my disobedience.
Mm.
God gave me a warning. He gave me an instruction. And just with life every day, going through life and living life from one day to the next, and you think you're doing what you're supposed to do, and you're just
Mm-hmm.
moving along in life. The instruction and the warning that he gave me in times past, I forgot that it was even said. I totally
Ah.
forgot it. I totally forgot it. So the book talks about, it is a true story. It is a journey in my life. And it talks about some of the things that I had to suffer and some of the things that I went through simply because I disobeyed God.
Mm. Now let's talk in general because that is deep, and I think it's just the your willingness to share it is
Mhm.
just because nowadays we just want to as long people we will wear that mask. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? And I mean for you to just share your story is
Okay.
awesome, but it's so funny that you said God gave you a warning. So let's kind of talk about just disobedience in general. And do you think people, how did it happen for you? Disobedience. And what do you think? Because a lot of people are like, wow, God gave her a warning and she didn't listen. And so
Mm-hmm.
how did that happen for you?
Mm-hmm. So I had started back years ago, maybe 2004, between 4 and 5. I had started dating this young man, and during this time of my life, I had just was in a place that I just wanted peace. I wanted to be drama free. Like, I didn't want no issues with nobody. I just wanted to be happy, have peace, and just move forward in life. So I had met this young man, and we started hanging out. And then we progressed from hanging out to, at some point, we started dating. However, when we was just hanging out, nobody knew we were dating. It wasn't necessarily a secret. It wasn't exclusive, so it was really nothing to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So we're dating, and a random Sunday morning, I go to church, and the greatest pastor in all the world to me, I go to church, and she calls me up to
Wait, what's your pastor's name?
Apostle Florida Jackson.
Okay, we got to give Apostle Florida
Yes,
Jackson a shout out and the name of the church.
yes, Evangelistic Outreach Deliverance Ministries, and she's on the west side of Chicago.
Okay, all right,
Yes,
there you
yes,
go. Shout out.
yes, the best. So she calls me up to the pulpit, and just random Sunday, she calls me up to the pulpit, and she looks me in my face, and she sings this hymn to me, and I'm looking, and I'm like, oh Lord, what have I done? I'm in trouble. Something I did. She's gonna get me, right? So then she
Right.
says, she looks me eye to eye, and she says, Felecia, God said no. So I'm looking at her, and I'm like, where is this coming from? Okay, so I'm thinking, and I'm thinking hard, and she says, I don't know who he is and where he came from, but God said no. She paused, and then she said, that is not your husband. Now,
Ooh.
during this time, we're just hanging out.
She gave you a word, didn't she?
Yes. So we're not even exclusive. We just like
Right.
hanging out.
Right, right.
And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, I kind of played it
Yeah.
off like, I don't know what she's talking about, but okay. Anyway, life goes on. Maybe almost 3 years pass, and here comes a proposal.
Mm.
It happened quickly. It happened quickly. He proposed, and probably in 6 months we were married.
Mm.
Totally forgot the warning that I was
Right.
getting. Totally forgot.
Right. You trying to get married?
Like it never even crossed my mind anymore that
Right.
she
Right.
said, no, that is not your husband. So life goes on. We get married. And when I say that there was warning, so many things had happened, even all the way up to the wedding day, the official day of the wedding. So many things happened prior to me getting down that aisle. Like, just here's a flag on the play. Here's a flag over here on the play. Here's a red
Yep.
flag over here. And still nothing is saying, ding, 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 Felecia.
Right.
Remember, we got married. Wedding went on. We got married. And oh my God. We were together 12 years, married almost 10. There was so many things I encountered. Uh, if we could talk about what the cost of being disobedience, manipulation, control, narcissistic behavior, adultery, division amongst the family and between the family. Like, so it was so many things, you know. And I was just, we were driving one day in the car. He was driving and I was, on the passenger side. And it was so many things going on. And I just had a moment with God. And I said, God, why am I going through all of this? Like, what have I done? I'm a good wife. I'm a good mom. Like, I take care of your people. Like, I love people. Like, why am I going through everything I'm going through? And God said, write the book. Kind of looked up in the sky, said, write the book. Lord, I don't know nothing about writing no book. What do you mean write the book? What book? He said, the cost of disobedience. What price will you pay? So it was at that moment he let me know that everything that I was going through because I strictly obeyed something he told me not to do.
It's amazing because one of the things we don't want to go through suffering, and it's just like your cousin Michelle is saying, your story is going to help and bless so many others. When I think about suffering, I think about Paul in the Bible and how Paul went through a great suffering, but he kept the faith. And I think in a way that when I'm hearing you, it's kind of reminding me of that same thing. You didn't curse God. You didn't turn from his love or anything. You just asked a simple question, and the simple question is, we all of us as human beings have had that question where we were like, God, why? But what really is important to get is that you listen and you obey. So that the title of that book, I mean, you had to pay a cost, but in the end, you obeyed. And so now I guess we know how you came up with the title. So God just placed it on your heart, just the title, like.
Yes, he gave it to me. He told me, yep, the cost of disobedience. Yep.
Wow. Did you, so what did you think when you got that title? Like, what were you thinking, like the cost of this, or do you already knew with all the red flags and everything you had went through that marriage?
When he dropped it in my spirit, I already knew what it was, because I had that relationship with God, although I wasn't where I should have been, but I had that relationship, and I knew when he said it, I knew what it was. So I already understood it. And once he gave it to me, I then understood the assignment, but I just didn't know how to move forward in it.
Yeah.
In it. He did, again, my relationship with God, he allowed me to know that I'm going to be with you in it. I'm going to be right there. You're going to make it, but you're going to pay.
Yeah.
Just like a parent, as when our children do something that we tell them not to do, contrary to what we tell them to do, they be disciplined, whether it's take their phone, whether it's you can't go to the movie with friends, you got to miss something that you like so much. It's the same thing. I disobeyed and I had to pay. But I learned a lot of valuable lessons.
I like the way you talk about your relationship with God. So many people are wondering and question, how do I establish that type of relationship with God? Tell us a bit about your spiritual journey and how you got to be able to get the confidence that you have and the courage you had, and to lean on him through your experiences. So how did you develop that relationship with God?
Um, I developed my relationship with God more so. It was as a child, I was introduced to the church. So not it wasn't all the time, every time.
Yeah.
Just the introduction was more, back when I was growing up, it was Mother's Day, it was Easter, it was
Yeah.
Christmas, it was things like that, random church events. But as I got to be an older adult, again, being reintroduced to the church in a different capacity, it was just something about going in a church and having peace there.
Mm-hmm.
So as an adult, when I started being more committed to going to church, and then the church that I belonged to, the love that was in the room and the joy that it brought just being in the room, getting to know and understand God was just an experience that you just have to experience.
Yeah.
It's just something you have to experience. And it made me feel like once I gained that relationship with God, that this is and we need it. This is what I need. This is where my peace is at. And it's just what I knew. It just became a lifestyle for me. But then as I got into the relationship, which is the relationship that talks about the book, that relationship kind of moved me away from the church. Although I moved away from the church, I still know God in my heart.
Right.
And I still look to him every single day to get me through each and everything. But sometimes when we're not careful, we let the enemy step in. And when we're not stronger than the place we're supposed to be, we'll fall off our square.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it was, so those red flags that you had, you like, do you ever like look back and be like, I had, so you said you had red flags all the way up until the wedding day. There were just red flags.
Yes. Yes.
So those red flags, you just kind of, were you just oblivious? Because like lots of times we're so concentrated on the wedding, we don't even notice the things that are going on, or we're so just happy to be in a marriage that you just you might overlook a lot of things that are just clearly red flags that God had given you.
Yes. Some things were cute. Oh, that's so cute. Now, no, that's not cute. That was never cute. That's not cute.
Absolutely.
Just being forgiven, things happen. You say, oh, I forgive you. Okay, you're not perfect. You're human. You're not perfect. People make mistakes. I forgive you. It's okay.
Right.
We'll move past this. But when I talk about red flags the day of the wedding, I'm talking about from the moment I woke up out the bed, the morning of the wedding, everything that could have went wrong. The only other thing could have went wrong was one of us didn't show up at the altar. But before that, before we got to the altar, there was at least 5 things, and it's in the book. There were at least 5 things that happened the morning of the wedding before I even got to the altar.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like in the worldly carnal way, it was just kind of like, oh my God, how can this happen? Today is my wedding day. How can this happen?
Right.
Me being the person that I am, I let nothing defeat me, and I'm gonna always find a way to make things happen. So the first thing happened, I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like on my wedding day? Okay, that's done. Nothing I can do about it. Now what do I have to do next to move forward? Okay,
right.
Got that done. Got over that hurdle.
Was God even that? Did you even pray like when you was going through that, or were you in Felecia mode? Like, I need to solve these issues.
I was in Felecia mode. Yeah, I was in Felecia mode. Okay, that's done. Let me get over here and get this done. Okay, that's done. Now I'm here. Boom, something else happened. Wait, what? Okay, now what I got to do? Fix it? Okay, move on. Like, I was totally in Felecia mode.
Wow. And it's so funny. So this is a relationship book, is it? Would you say that it's a relationship book? Without giving too much, because you guys have to go and buy the book.
In a sense, it is.
Sort of. I mean, maybe a spiritual relationship, maybe a a physical relationship, or how would you
I would definitely say that it's a relationship because it talks a lot about the relationship and things
right.
that happen in the relationship. But also, the book is, I tried to have a little creativity in the book and also give people just little nuggets to take with them. So, like after every chapter,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what I'm talking about in that chapter ends with a scripture from the
Ah,
Bible that relates to that specific chapter that I'm talking about. And
mhm.
also, um, for people who understand the Bible and know Bible characters,
Yeah.
every the main characters in the book, they all have biblical names,
I love it.
and there's meaning behind those names. So
Right, right.
yeah, it is definitely a relationship between he and I, but it also has a spiritual aspect that you can take with you. Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
All right. So actually, guess what? We're at the top of the first half hour. We're gonna break for some commercials. And then when we come back, I want to kind of talk about, the actual process of writing the book and just going through that. Okay. All
Okay.
right. So you guys, we are with Felecia Portwood. We're talking about her book, The Cost of Disobedience. Woo! What price will you pay? Because there is a price to pay for disobedience. And
Yes,
Felecia
indeed.
lays it all out in the book to help you, to serve you. So we will be back. Sure. And we want to thank Andre the Realtor, My Sip Nation, and Blue Pearl Candles. I look like a talking head. I just get a kick every time we've got that frame in there. It's just so, there you go. It's just so funny to me because I really look like a talking head because all you see is this. But we are back, you guys, and we are back with Felecia Portwood, and we're talking about her book, The Cost of Disobedience. And I mean, we've learned about, guess how she got the title. I'm just so amazed at how she got the title. God gave her the title, and she ran with it. There was a price. There was a price to pay for her to be where she is in life today. And we're going to talk more about her book right now. Let's bring it back up. There you are. You didn't go away from the commercial. So, usually sometimes we
Yeah.
have people leave. No, I'm just kidding. I hope you've been enjoying this. I've been really
Oh
enjoying this
yes.
conversation. I will tell you that, Felecia. But I want to move over to a different aspect of the book.
Okay.
So I know that the publishing company you went through, is it She or SHE Publishing? So what made you choose that particular publishing company?
So She Publishing LLC. I was so after I went through the editing phase of it. By the time I was actually finished with the book, I wanted it to put it in the hands that I knew it will be taken care of properly. In the world we live in today, there's a lot of schemes, there's a lot of scams. You don't always get what you pay for, or you don't always get what you're looking to get. So I did some researching, and I reached out to some people just trying to find out, what's a good publishing company. I don't know anything about publishing. I don't even know nothing about writing a book. I just wrote what God told me to write.
Right.
So I wanted it to be, again, perfect. This is God's work. This is his assignment. I wanted it to be perfect and in the right people's hands. So I reached out to a few people, and one of my girlfriends who I used to work with, she also is a new author, and she had previously written a book. So she told me to research She Publishing and, look at their stuff. So I went on their website. I did a little research, and I decided to go with them. I decided to go with She Publishing. Yes, it's African American owned, Black female sisters, kind of like they have multiple locations and sister sites. I sent them my manuscript, and when I say from the very first introduction until the day they got this book published was nothing but love.
Oh,
love. Professionalism, like customer service was outstanding. And they took my manuscript, and now we're here.
Oh wow! So we had a question come up while you were talking about She Publishing, and the question comes from Crystal, and she says, "Was it difficult naming each chapter?"
Yes, yes. Each chapter is named based upon that exact period that I'm writing about in that chapter. It's named for that exact period of time in the relationship.
Oh wow! So give us a little sneak peek of it.
Like the chapter that talks about I'll just think of one off the top of my head.
Okay.
The chapter that talks about the foundation. So in this chapter, the foundation is talking about the foundation of myself as a wife with my new husband and my children, because I came into the marriage with children already. So this chapter is talking about how we were trying to build as a family. Myself, my husband, and my children. It just talks about us building, setting us foundation, the respect of the children, just how raising the children and trying to, grow for our future, build for our future. So that's how I wind up naming that chapter, The Foundation, because it's a chapter where I talk about building as a family, as a new family, as a whole.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful. So now let's talk about, because we know, God placed on your heart the title of the book, but do you have a certain, like a writing process or writing style? How did you go about it? Because this is your first book. You're a new author. So I mean, how did you even begin? Because a book has to make sense. It's got to have a beginning, it's got to have a middle, and it's got to have an end. So how did you even, by you of course you had the English classes and things like that, but how did you even put that together? And I know God's grace and mercy had a lot to do with it.
I don't even have to say anything, because you just said it. That's what I was going to say. It was all God's grace and his mercy. Let me tell you. Again, even being a degree nurse and going to college and all those things, I can write a paper. Like I write papers. That's what requires me for my degree. But again, it was never a thing for me. So when I finally sat down to write it, it was just like, I just had to say, God, what is it that you want me to say? What is it that you want me to tell? Because there's a lot of things that I didn't tell, and there's a lot of things but so it was, God, what do you want me to say? So he kind of guided me in it. So what I did was I just started from the beginning of where my life was at the very moment that this man came into my life, where I was at in that period of my life. And it goes into how we met. And then how we went from one stage of hanging out to now dating, to now proposed, to now married. It was just, I just wrote what it was. I just wrote what it was. I just wrote about the relationship.
And then, so how long did the writing process take you?
Well, it actually, so God gave it to me in 2000, and it had to have been about 12. God gave it to me in 2012. He told me to write the book. I started writing the book immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. I started writing the book. But within that same time and within that same relationship, there were so many obstacles. There were so many things that still kept me from writing it then. So I just set it down and I didn't touch it again. It was life goes on. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't touch it again. And so recently, I think I wrote 2 pages and I never touched it again. And then recently, when I went back to school to pick up my degree, my bachelor's degree, I told my husband, my now husband, I said, I think I'm gonna go back to school and I'm gonna pursue this degree. And God said, not before you write my book. So I said, oh, okay. So I know what that means. If I don't finish God's assignment, I won't be successful in this program. So I knew what that meant. So the program started August the 1st of the year, August 1st, 2020. And I knew that if I didn't, I wouldn't, be successful. July the 31st of 2020, I sat at my kitchen table at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and I wrote continuously for 14 hours until I finished that book.
You wrote the book in 14 hours?
14 hours straight.
Man, when God give you something, and when you're obedient to it, look what happened.
When I finished writing the book, it was August the 1st at 3 a.m. August the 1st at 7 a.m. I was in class.
You were starting that class.
Yeah.
You were finishing that book.
I knew what I wanted. Like, I knew my goals and I know what I want and I knew what I wanted in my future. But I also know from past and previous that if you don't do what you're supposed to do for God, you are not going to be successful in everything that you want to do. And I didn't want any hurdles. I didn't want any obstacles. I didn't want nothing to hinder me in this program. So I knew that I had to finish God's book before I pick up anything else. Otherwise, I wouldn't be successful in it. So that's what I did. I wrote for 14 hours straight around the clock until I got it finished.
Now, right now, it's a lot of women and men. Yes. They're dealing with, like you said, being manipulated in relationships. They're dealing with being controlled, adultery, division. Just if you know what, even physical and mental abuse.
Yes.
And so what would you say to somebody that's going through what you've been through?
I would first say, and I will always say, the first thing is be obedient. Because sometimes if we look to God for each and everything in our life, whether it be relationship, school, work, money, anything, if we look to him first, he'll tell us which way to go. He'll lead us. But in the carnal mind and when we don't, and in the worldly way, you got to have self-love. A lot of things we deal with in life, whether it be women or men, has to do with not having enough self-love. Because when we don't have self-love, we allow things to happen in our life. We allow people to treat us a certain type of way. We go through things that we normally wouldn't go through if we just had that self-love about ourselves.
And how would you say somebody should find self-love? Because like we have a lot of terms and like we might know it, but it's a lot of people, what I try not to do is take for granted that people know.
Yeah.
Because they don't. So how would you go about finding self-love? That's a brilliant answer. I mean, I love your answer. But as you talk to me, the questions just get deeper and deeper. You just keep going down. You just keep getting deeper and deeper, Felecia.
Well, self-love, you can find self-love. And again, how do you want to be treated? How do you want to be treated?
Right.
You want to be treated with respect. Well, first you got to respect yourself. That's number one. And as you respect yourself, other people will respect you because that's just what you know. So if you already respect yourself, you're not going to allow nobody to disrespect you. The way you carry yourself, tells a person how to handle you. You gotta want, if you want the best for you, and you want that peace and love, you gotta love yourself. If you love yourself, you're not gonna let nobody talk to you any kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna let them handle you any kind of way. So it's just knowing that what you want as a human being. What do I deserve?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do I deserve? I deserve to be treated with respect. I deserve to be loved. I deserve people to be kind to me. I deserve all those things. All of that is part of self-love and loving yourself.
Right. And I think and I just keep going back to your story, because as you began to love yourself, you started to change, and as you begin to
Yeah.
obey God's word, you
Yeah.
started to change. So I know you've got to be living a totally different life.
Yes.
So tell me about the life you got right now, Felecia. What's going on?
Well,
Entrepreneur, author, nurse, wife, mother, grandmother. Tell us about how you
yes,
living
yes.
now.
Well, right now I am. Here's the spoiler alert. Here's the oncoming book. I am living the life of an obedient person now. So the next, maybe this third book, because I already got the idea for the second book. So maybe the third book, and it was also shared and given to me by one of my girlfriends. The reward for obedience.
Oh, this a whole series. Then you
Yes.
gonna look. Then it's
Yes.
the children. It's the grandchildren. I mean, just you creating a
The
whole. Yeah,
reward for
they'll be reading this
obedience.
book 25 years from now. Your whole
Yes.
series. All right.
Yes.
I'm gonna just
Yes.
say it right now. They're gonna be reading this book, because
Yes.
I mean, you're what you always want to look for is that golden thread, and you've captured it. The cost of obedience, and now you're taking it to the reward for being obedient, and
Yes.
that's going
Yes.
to lead you to
Yes.
who only God knows, and He placed
Yes.
on your heart what He has for you. I think it's
Yes.
just amazing. Now we
Yes.
have a lot of I always like to talk about the entrepreneur side. We have a lot of women that, or men, we have a lot of people that they have their manuscript, they have their book. They may have not done like you, a book in 14 hours. That is what I'm talking.
14 hours.
That's how look.
I'm
That
like,
had to
boy,
be God.
you have already chastised me once. You do not have to do it again. I am going to get your book out there. Don't you worry. I'm
I
going to get
know
it
that's
done.
right. So for
Yes.
people who have, let's say that they've written their book, or they have their manuscript, and they want to say, well, what is my next step? I've got this manuscript. What do I do next?
Yeah. So the next step in that is putting it in the hands of an editor. Get you an editor. I chose to go out to a professional editor. I had it. I gave it to her. She took a couple weeks with it. She went through it with a fine tooth comb. We went through it a few times, just for grammatical errors, and make sure that the wordings were correct and
Right.
all those different things. So I got it to the editor. We finalized it. She got it back to me, and then I still sat on it. Because I think I got nervous, and I started questioning: is it good enough? Will it be okay? Do people really want to read this?
Right.
But then I had to go back and say, well, if God told you to do it, then it's already successful.
There you go.
If I reach one woman, then He did His job. If I reach one woman or one man, because it happened for me too. So I had to just get in a mind space and say, okay, Felecia, it is what God gave you. You wrote what He said wrote. Right. So I gave it to the editor. I sat on it for a while. And then the very next step is getting it to that publisher. A lot of people self-publish. I don't know anything about self-publishing. In my busy life, I do not even have time. And again, I wanted to put it in the hands of a professional who knew what they was doing, so that it can be absolutely perfect. Okay. So it's editor, and then publisher, and then there you have it.
Wow.
From there.
Now, where can we find your books?
So right now my book is on you can find it on Amazon. It's on Amazon. It's in Barnes and Nobles online. It's on books.google.com. You can also purchase it from the She Publishing LLC website. I have a whole web page there. You can go on my web page and purchase the book. I will say though that the book has sold out twice already. On She Publishing LLC.
Well, you know that's to be expected. The journey, just the journey itself, that's to be expected.
Yeah. So it's there. She Publishing, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and books.google.com is where you can find the book.
Okay, and then we have her number below, but also you can join her the Cost of Disobedience Facebook page. So tell us about what we can expect when we join that Facebook page. What's that all about?
So the Facebook page, I have a author's web page as well, but the Facebook page was something that I put together so that the readers themselves can come back to that page and tell me what you think about the book. Like, can you relate? How can you relate? What are you looking for next? Like, what's the next thing you want to know about the book? We can get on there and we can conversate about the book. You can see other thoughts and hear other people's thoughts about the book. Share your own thoughts. Yeah.
So and also wait, now She Publishing, you were an award recipient for this year at She Publishing. So tell us a little bit about that experience. I mean, girl, look, wait a minute. You went to school, you got your degree. Did you finish? You're finished, right?
Yes.
You finished your degree. You wrote your book in 14 hours. Man, as you guys, if you are watching this, you see what happens when you're obedient.
Yes. I'm telling you, God has been amazing. He has showed out. So She Publishing, again, is the publishing company. She Publishing LLC is the publishing company that I chose for the book. So they had like a networking convention for all of the authors of their current authors, current and past authors. So they put together this networking convention, and during this convention, they give awards. So now my book, they did a pre-order. My book just released on my birthday, November 29th. Prior to that, October, I think it was like October the 20th, they did a pre-release, a pre-sale before the book was released. Again, sold out twice already on She Publishing. Wow. Yes. And they also did like a little live stream, and they had us come on and everybody talked about the books. And they said that the person who had the most interaction and people who tuned in and people who wanted to engage with the conversation and all those things, you would win an award. So my stream, I think, had over like 500 views, over 300 and something comments. It just was off the chain, just blowing up. I was hoping maybe, but again, we're talking, it had only been not even a full 30 days before they did the pre-sale. Not even been a full 30 days. Book sold out twice. And then I get to this conference and they call my name. I have won the She Publishing award.
And let me just tell you, can you put this comment back up there, Andre? It's from She Publishing. Listen to this. This is how you know it's nothing but God. She Publishing LLC, they just made this comment. They said Felecia Portwood is an essential piece to the She family. We are honored to have her as a part of the She Squad.
Yes.
I mean, isn't that a blessing?
It's a blessing.
That's from your publishing company.
It's a blessing. Yes.
Yeah, you got to write that second book because they believe in you.
Yes. Let me tell you something. Everything that has happened, and I'm going to tell you how good God is. Everything that has happened since I finished this book has been nothing but God. Wow. Everything has happened in divine order. Just even being introduced to that company itself, everything happened in divine order. Even all the way down to the day that they decide, well, when are we going to release? And she threw some dates out there. And she was like, well, how about November? Is it anything significant in November? And I was like, November, that's my birthday. Like, oh, there you have it. We're dropping your book on your birthday. Like, everything has been just such a blessing. I mean, and again, my life since I have got this book up and, and out and published God just have rewarded me in so many ways. I have an amazing husband. I have a great relationship.
Shout out to Ralph.
Yes. I have a great relationship with my children and my grandchildren, which I can say, and it's in the book. There was some tension there.
Yeah.
With everything that was going on in this book, there was some division in there between myself and the children, all based upon this relationship, right?
Wow.
So since I have completed God's work in this assignment on this book, my life, new home, new job, new career, like everything new. God said everything new for being obedient. For being obedient.
This is just such an inspirational story because I hope it reignites the spirit of God in other people because it's real. This is a real person we're talking to. She's not, she's not AI. She's not a robot. She is a real person who went through some real things. Okay, Andre's got his hand up, but I got two more questions. when Andre's hand goes up, that means it's time to go. I got two more questions. I just got to try to squeeze in. All right, let's talk 2 to 5 years. What do you see yourself doing?
Well,
we've gotten some hints already, but go ahead.
2 to 5 years. 2 to 5 years. 2 years, I'll be probably a 3-time author within the next 2 years. 5 years, I'll either be retired or working from home. That's my goal. I'll be probably teaching nursing.
That is beautiful.
Yes.
And now we get about 26,000 viewers. If you could leave any message for our audience, what would that message be?
That message would be, have that relationship with God, whichever God that you believe in, have that relationship with Christ. Have it. When he give you something, listen. Ladies, do not ignore the red flags. Yes, don't ignore them red flags. They are there. That intuition is there. And sometimes God speaks to us and we don't know it or we don't recognize it. We in trouble. In trouble. Trust God. Just seek him. Let him guide you in what you're doing. You can't go wrong. Otherwise, you'll pay.
that there is a price to pay for that, right? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been author and entrepreneur Felecia Portwood. We are so glad that you graced us with your presence today. We wish nothing but the best. We don't even have to wish it because we know God did already gave it to you. So you know what? When it's time for that second book, we want to see you back. Whatever you're doing, we want to see you back.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you for having me. Thanks.
That is no issue at all. Now you have to watch next week because we have a commercial. See, that's how I get you. Next week, you'll see your commercial. All right, Andre put his hand up twice. I gotta go. In 2 weeks.
Yes.
All right. It was good having you, Felecia.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. And as I close out, I just want to leave you with something that I heard today on YouTube. And it said that there is a gap in positive emotional communication. And that means, people just don't know how to show others that they're thankful. So I just want to encourage you, that during this holiday season, try to find the good in things, try to find the good in people, in your experiences. And if, someone does something nice for you, express that because they didn't have to do it. And there is nothing wrong with, showing your appreciation to or for someone. And Felecia, we want to show our appreciation for you. Your interview was so inspiring, and I know lots of people are going to watch it. But as always, we thank God for his blessings and his undeserved, unmerited favor called grace that he gives to us freely every single day. And as believers, we know that Christ died, he was buried, and he rose again on the third day for our justification. It's all in the word. And I encourage each and every one of you to pick it up daily to increase your faith and confidence in him. Just look from this interview. If that doesn't make you pick up your word or do something, I don't know what will. I just had such a great time and I'm just so filled right now from that interview. But on behalf of myself and my hardworking husband, Andre Hill, I wish I had a minute. I think I got a minute. I just want to give a shout out to my husband, Andre Hill, because God really guides him. He just laid out the vision for our future. And you guys, I'm just so ecstatic to just have a partner that reads the word and listens to what God places on his heart as well. It's always, when they say it's fun being in a relationship. Not always easy, but it is fun. I wouldn't trade it. I enjoy the institution of marriage. But I just wanted to give a shout out to him and his support. And as always, we will see you December 18th with another incredible interview. Be you, be brilliant, be blessed. See you in 2 weeks.